Okay, so we were just talking about Barbara Johns and how she was in a segregated school and she decided to rally all of the kids together to stand up and strike because they wanted to stand up for what they believed in. That was reaching for the moon because it was setting a big goal for them to accomplish. Okay, so your essay is going to be 4 paragraphs and you are going to answer the prompt, how do both the article and the poem support the fact that she reached for the moon? And you should probably have in your article what reach for the moon means, because that's, or in your essay, I'm sorry, not your article, because that is what's going to answer the question, how she reached for the moon, if you explain what reaching for the moon means. So here in a second, as always, you need to have transition words, you need to have a good intro, you need to have a thesis statement, you're going to have a conclusion. You're going to have 4 pieces of evidence, 2 from the article, 2 from the poem. You're going to explain your evidence. You're going to avoid using the phrase "this shows." And you are going to have good details here. So here in a second, we are going to start you have your outline. We are going to start our intro. Our intro starts with a hook. Okay, so some of the hooks that we said, we could ask a question. We're going to avoid using the word you. Okay, so don't say, do you know who Barbara Johns is? No, it needs to be more of an in-depth question, okay? Make this in-depth, avoid saying you. You can use a quote. So you could say something along the lines of Barbara Johns once said, and find a quote that she said, and use that as your hook to grab your reader. You can set the scene or make a statement, kind of maybe talk about what racism and segregation was like back in the 1950s. Or you could use a single word. Like if you were to describe Barbara Johns, what single word? Maybe you could say determined. Barbara Johns was very determined. So you say the word and then you explain it after you say the word, okay? So when you go to write your intro, you have a hook, you have 1 or 2 sentences on each text. So you would put your hook here. Then you would say the article, imagine this was your school by Terry Canfield is about, and then you're going to tell me what the article is about. Clearly that's not accurate. Then you would say the poem, Barbara Johns reaches for the moon by Irene Latham is about, tell me what it's about. Okay, then I need to wrap it up. I need a thesis statement. I need to mention both the article and the poem. So the article and the poem both talk about how Barbara Johns reached for the moon and accomplished big things by, okay, and then you're going to fill in the blank. You do not be creative. Please do not copy this word for word. Well, obviously, you don't want to have this kind of stuff in there, but you need to be creative. You don't need to use these sentence frames. Now, if you're stuck, you can start that way and then go back and adjust later. But this is how your intro looks based on your outline here. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to spend the first little bit of time working on our intro. We're going to pause, and then I'm going to go over how to write your body paragraph, okay? And our goal today is to have both paragraphs done. All right?